It's Wolf, and it is some Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Happy belated Thanksgiving and Black Friday to you guys. Let me just make sure everything is set up all good. Also, need to make sure you do not have gamepad attached. Yes, I want to swap to mouse keyboard. I'm playing on PC, as you guys can probably tell. Which I don't think I've done a stream of Infinite Warfare on PC. Actually, I don't think I've played Infinite Warfare on PC at all on this channel. If you don't know, I'm a big fan of Call of Duty Zombies on Infinite Warfare. The rest of Infinite Warfare is okay. It's not like, I don't know. Infinite Warfare I find to be kind of an odd Call of Duty game. It's by far like the most like futuristic one, which is interesting, but I'm not sure how I feel about it for a Call of Duty game. But the zombies mode in Infinite Warfare I've praised many times. It's very good. It's a lot of fun, and it's also not attached to the Treyarch zombies from like Black Ops and World at War and stuff. So the story of it is not as convoluted, not nearly. I mean, it's a little convoluted, but it's not nearly as convoluted as the stories of those Call of Duty Zombies modes. But anyway, I wanted to do a stream just to kind of talk and, the usual thing I do in airing streams, talk about what I've been up to, talk about what I'm working on right now, that kind of thing. Um, Unfortunately, the only map that I have on the PC version of Infinite Warfare is Zombies in Spaceland. On PS4, I also have Attack of the Radioactive Thing, which is a map that I really, really like also. I like Zombies in Spaceland a lot too, but I think I like Attack of the Radioactive Thing more. But in order to get the other maps on PC, you have to buy the DLC, and it's like never on sale on PC. It's like always really expensive. It's still like, I don't know, like $15 per DLC or something. I don't even know if it's actually available anymore. You might have to like get it through the season pass or something. I'm not entirely sure. So we're stuck with Zombies in Spaceland. But yeah. Also, I want to apologize if I sound a little bit stuffy. My God, this loaded so much faster than it did on my PS4 though, which is so nice. Um, yeah, I'm feeling all right, but I am a little bit stuffy, which is another thing that I want to mention later on. I'm gonna get to this later, but it's the thing I've been thinking about. I complain a lot about various like health things on my streams. My girlfriend bullies me about it a lot. Not the health things, but the fact that I talk about them on my streams so much. But I've been thinking about it a lot, and I might have long COVID. like I've not been diagnosed with that, but there's some things that kind of add up to that. But anyway, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Mostly, I want to talk about Thanksgiving and Black Friday because I know a lot of you guys are probably on. Nope, didn't want to do grenade. Wait, which one is knife? V? Oh, nope, nope. V is to knife in PC version. Okay. Yeah, I've never really like I have Infinite Warfare on PC, but I've never really played it that much on PC. So this might not go as well as it does when I played it on other platforms. But anyway, also, I don't know why it said I didn't have a gamepad attached, but I'm pretty sure. Oh no, I did unplug my gamepad. Okay, I thought I had that plugged in. Anyway, so what was I on about? Yeah, Thanksgiving and Black Friday and stuff. Yeah, so a lot of people are probably still on breaks from school or work for Thanksgiving if you live here in the U.S. But and I've actually been pretty lucky this year in terms of holidays with like the whole kind of rest of the year. My job is a little weird with like days off and like days that like everybody has off and stuff with holidays because like some holidays everybody has off, some holidays nobody has off. Sometimes there's days around holidays that people have off, but not the actual holidays. It's kind of odd. But anyway, this year I actually got pretty. Oh, hang on. Oh, okay. I thought my mouse controls are screwed up. I got pretty lucky this year with holiday stuff because I got pretty much like the maximum number of extra days off that I could have, which is nice. So I've been enjoying that because I had some extra days off around Thanksgiving. Um, But yeah, I know a lot of you guys are probably gonna be heading back to work and school and stuff soon, and I mean me as well. Uh, but I had a really nice Thanksgiving actually. The turkey that we got was really good. Actually, the food in general was really good, and it's a pretty. I actually have kind of a large family, but my Thanksgivings are usually pretty small, just because like the number of people that live with slash near me, kind of small. But yeah, we had our little Thanksgiving. We had turkey and some other stuff, and uh, like I said, the turkey that we had gotten was really, really good this year. Like I don't it always kind of depends. Like sometimes you get really good turkey, sometimes you get really like iffy turkey. But whatever one we picked out this year, I think it was like a butterball, and it was just the turkey breast, not like the full size turkey. It was oh whoa, hang on. Need to turn that music off, cause there we go. I don't want to get copyright struck. Um, yeah, the turkey was excellent. It tasted really, really good. Um, and my mom makes these sweet potatoes, and they're like sweet potatoes with like marshmallow on them and like brown sugar, and they're really good too. They're one of my like they're arguably like my favorite part of Thanksgiving. Um, but yeah, honestly though, on Thanksgiving itself, I actually felt a little bit off. I had a sore throat a little bit this week, but not like a ton. And I know like a while ago I had a similar thing happen, and I actually went to the doctor, and I think there's some sort of something that's been going around that's like it gives you a sore throat for a little while, but it doesn't actually really seem to do anything. Um, yeah, I don't know what like the cause of that is, but that's happened to me like twice or three times now, where I've had like a little bit of sore throat for a few days, and like nothing else really happens except for that. But it's kind of annoying. So yeah, Thanksgiving, I actually didn't eat as much as I probably would have liked, which kind of sucked. But yeah, which okay, so I might as well bring up the whole COVID thing that I was saying a minute ago now. So I've been thinking like if you've watched my streams over the past like year or so, you've probably noticed that like I talk a lot about health related things. And like I've talked about like, oh, I got diagnosed with sleep apnea, and then I got that treated, and then I actually got that like seemingly fully treated, which is good. Um, but I complain a lot about that kind of stuff, and I talked about like like stomach issues and things like that, and just like generally not really feeling great a lot of the time. And I just kind of chalked it up to the fact that like I've always had pretty bad allergy issues, and sleep apnea also can like screw with you in a lot of ways. So even though I've had my sleep apnea like pretty well treated, sleep apnea can be a thing that it's weird because like it it can be fully treated, but like it can also affect you and stuff. So I kind of just like, oh wait, I didn't even mean to do that, but okay. I kind of just figured it was like a handful of those things, but then I was reading online about long COVID, because when I was in grad school, I remember talking to a friend of mine one time, and she was like, oh, like sound because I had COVID, like okay, went to England, started grad school, immediately caught COVID. After that, made friends with a girl, and we're like still friends. But it's funny, if you watched any of my streams from back then, you might remember I mentioned going on like a date like pretty early on in grad school, and then I like never mentioned it again. that was with that girl, because like we went and we like walked through the woods a bunch of times and like hung out. And then I thought it was dates, but it turned out she actually had a boyfriend. But we're still friends. But anyway, one of those times I had mentioned that I was like, I'd had COVID and I still wasn't feeling that good, and she was like, oh, maybe you have like long COVID or whatever, and I was kind of like, nah, like I don't think so. But then after reading about it a little bit online and kind of thinking about the timing of like the things that I've dealt with, aside from like actual COVID and stuff, um, in like the symptoms that some people have with long COVID, I've kind of started to realize that what, it might not actually be unrealistic for me to have long COVID. Just because like I've caught COVID, I think 3 times that I know of, but there might be other times too, because like There's been times before where I've been sick and not been able to like test for anything, because like when I was in grad school, if I got sick, I would just stay in my room for like 3 or 4 days or whatever till I felt better. But I didn't always have like a COVID test. So like 3 times that I know of, that I've had COVID, and so looking back on it though, like the first time I caught COVID really wasn't that bad. Like I didn't even really notice that I had it. The only reason I realized that I had it was because 2 of my family members caught it, and so I also tested for it and tested positive. But the second time I caught COVID was that time when I had just gotten to the UK for grad school, and I had I caught COVID, and then like after that was when I started kind of dealing with some of the issues that I've been dealing with in terms of like I got sick a ton when I was in the UK, and I was like, oh, like maybe that's part of like long COVID, because it's one of those things where like long COVID or COVID in general screws with your body in like way more ways than like normal for like a flu or a virus or whatever. Um, and so, uh, you know, like it's actually kind of I find it kind of concerning that as like a world we've moved past COVID so fast, when it is a disease that is so strange, still kills a ton of people, and also causes all sorts of extra issues for a lot of other people. But anyway, so in like looking up some of that stuff, uh, so there was the thing with like I got sick a bunch after I caught COVID in the UK. I was also having like I was sleepy a lot after that. That was kind of when some of my like constant napping started. Um, and then uh, eventually that kind of got better though. Like I stopped getting sick like all the time. Um, but then I came back to the US, and then like I think it was like a couple months after I started my current job, I ended up getting sick with COVID again. And ever since then, I've had like the stomach issues that I've been talking about and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where it's like I've looked it up, and apparently there's a lot of people who claim to have those symptoms and say that it's from long COVID. But the other thing too, oh, and then to add to that, I also seem to have these weird like flare-ups almost with my sinuses, where like I'll have these days where I don't really feel sick, but my nose and my stomach just feel really bad. And that's kind of odd too. So anyway, long story short, like I don't know for sure if I actually have that, but like after reading online about it, I was like, there's a possibility that could be part of the issue here. The only thing is, like, to actually get diagnosed with long COVID, I guess, is kind of quite the process. The other thing too is like reading some of the stuff online about it. I'm not totally sure how many people who say they have it actually have it, which I don't mean to like doubt, what people are saying about their bodies, but it's one of those things where like on the internet, there's a lot of people that really overemphasize stuff. So like for example, when I first had sleep apnea and I was reading about sleep apnea online, there's a lot of people out there who were like, my AHI, which I've explained that before, that's the number of times you stop breathing in an hour when you're sleeping. They would be like, oh, my AHI is like 2, which is a normal AHI for like a normal adult. And they'd be like, and my sleep is just terrible. And it's like, well, maybe, but that's kind of odd if that's true. And so the same thing I think kind of applies to some of the stuff that I had read about like people who were saying they had long COVID, and that like there's a lot of people who kind of were making a really big deal out of it, or like describing like symptoms and stuff about it, and it was like, maybe, but I think there's also probably a lot of people who it's kind of psychosomatic. I think I'm using the right term there, where like they're pretty much that they're imagining it, or they're attributing like their issues to something that is not actually the cause of them. Because some of the stories that I read, I was like, yeah, this kind of seems a little delusional. like, you know, I mean, I like long COVID is definitely a thing. I know that it exists, but I do think that there's some people out there who don't have it that maybe like think that they do, or perhaps do have it, but are it's a little bit in their mind more than it is a physical thing, if you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, I just figured I would mention that on stream because that was the thing that I was looking into, and yeah, it really does just kind of freak me out how we really just like, I don't know, it just shocks me how as a world we had this crazy pandemic. We were all locked inside for like 2 years. Um, like a bunch of us like like masks, wearing masks and everything, and then it was like it seems like it just kind of all disappeared. And I know that COVID like doesn't get as many people as sick anymore, but like it's still a thing, and it's still a pretty dangerous thing, and it kind of freaks me out that people have kind of just moved on from it so fast when it still can cause so many issues. But anyway, that's just my side note about COVID and long COVID and stuff, and the possibility that maybe I have it because some of my symptoms actually do kind of seem to match up with it after all. Um, but yeah. So in reminder again, sorry if I sound a little sniffly. I feel fine. It's just like I work in a very dusty environment, and sometimes like when I get done with work or like the day afterwards, my nose is just stuffy. Um, Actually, part of my like feeling kind of iffy sometimes though is actually I went and got a flu shot this year, which I hadn't gotten in a long time because I feel like flu. Where are all the zombies at? If I just stand still, I know they'll find me eventually, but where did they all go? Unless I've encountered some. Ah, there it is. I think you're the round ender. Yeah. Uh, so, yeah, it's like when you're a kid, I think a lot of people get flu shots because it's like required for school or whatever. But then when you become an adult, a lot of the times it's kind of like you're in control of that thing yourself, and it's easy to just not get a flu shot. But I ended up getting one because a long time ago, I feel like I might have told this story already, but I'll tell it again because why not? Long time ago, my dad had told me one time that he had gotten his flu shot for the winter season, and that he felt a lot better than he did like over the previous however many years. And he lived in like a really cold environment too, which obviously does not help with sinuses and stuff like that. And I remember him telling me that well, actually, speaking of that, I have to go wipe my nose. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. Um, what was I saying? Also, actually, I should pop OBS back up on the screen before I get back into it, so I can monitor some stream stuff. There we go. Um, yeah. My story. I was saying my dad had gotten the flu shot the one year and said that it helped him a lot with like his just like generally with like winter stuff. And so I always keep meaning to get one, and then I never get one, and then of course at some point I get sick and I'm like, oh, I didn't get my flu shot. So I got my flu shot this year, and I think it has maybe helped. I actually, one of my family members got kind of sick a couple weeks ago and had like flu or something going on. Like they were actually like properly sick for a few days. Um, and I ended up feeling a little bit off over those days too, but I just had like a runny nose the one day, and that was kind of it. And I kind of wondered if maybe it was like if I had caught something, but like the flu shot was at work a little bit with, how when you get the flu shot, like it doesn't always mean you're gonna totally be prevented from getting sick, but that you're probably gonna have like a way less intense sickness. Um, But yeah, anyway, I don't regret getting that. It was also free. I don't know if that's always the case. I don't know if that was just because of my insurance, but I know that you can get free flu shots a lot of places here in the US, even though healthcare is usually kind of expensive. Um, but yeah. So anyway, back to what I was talking about, Thanksgiving and Black Friday and stuff. So I kind of recapped my Thanksgiving, but Black Friday was pretty fun too. I did some shopping. Black Friday this year felt a little bit subdued, but it's also felt kind of subdued for the past couple of years. Places weren't open, not as many places were open as early as like previous years. I think last year GameStop was open at like 5 a.m. or something. But yeah, I went to a couple stores and I bought a couple things. I didn't spend as much money as last year, which is probably for the best, but I bought a handful of games. There really wasn't that many good deals on games this year, because like I don't know, gaming stuff has just stayed consistently so expensive ever since the PS5 and Xbox Series X released. I know like GameStop had Battlefield 6 on pretty good sale. It was like half off, but I actually ended up getting a couple sports games. Got College Football 26, NBA 2K26, and WWE 2K25, which there is not a WWE 2K26 yet, so far as I know. Just because I actually do enjoy sports games quite a bit, even though I don't play them super often. It's one of those things like where every couple of years I'll get into a kick where I want to play some sports games, and then I'll go and buy them or whatever. So a bunch of them were down to like $20 or $30 for Black Friday, so I ended up buying a handful of those. I also got Killing Floor 3 because that was cheap on Black Friday, and I really like Killing Floor 2. I don't think Killing Floor 3 has like as good of reviews. I gotta open up the last portal. Why am I slacking here? Killing Floor 3 I don't think people have liked as much as Killing Floor 2, but I like Killing Floor 2, but I hadn't actually played it that much, so I'm not like super, oh, like this isn't as good as the second game, because I haven't really played the second game that much. But the little bit of Killing Floor 3 that I have played, I enjoyed. And that's it for games. I made one big purchase this year, one big Black Friday purchase this year, which was I actually bought a Mac Mini, which might sound strange because I know like I have my Mac Studio. It's like, oh, Wolf, like why would you need a Mac Mini when you've got a pretty new Mac Studio that is probably not going to be outdated for quite a while yet still actually. And so I ended up doing it because I like to kind of separate my work. I'm pretty particular about like what I use on my different devices, and that's just like a privacy thing in a lot of ways. I've seen too many like horror story clips of where like a streamer, like a YouTuber or a streamer, like especially streamers, where they will open up, like they'll be streaming and they'll hit like alt tab to the wrong tab and end up showing like, I don't know, their texts with somebody or something, and it's embarrassing, or it like shows their personal information or whatever. So my Mac Studio, I actually have almost nothing downloaded onto, and I'm logged out of pretty much everything on there except for when I actually need to use it. So like I didn't want to use it for applying for jobs or anything like that, because it was like, what if I was working on my resume and then I streamed and I forgot to close my resume and I accidentally like alt tabbed to my resume, and it's got my full name and my phone number and stuff on it. So I didn't want to do that, but at the same point, the other computer that I have, that I had been using for like job application and stuff like that, kind of getting like, it was already old. It was like it's a used MacBook, so like it worked, but it was not really like the greatest thing. So I ended up getting Mac Mini because I was like, I'll use this for like real life stuff, for like applying to jobs, things like that. And also separating it out like that really helps me to keep from being distracted, because like if I get on my Mac Mini, I'm not logged into anything, like any social media on there or anything, and like my YouTube playlists and like videos that I like aren't saved on there. So like if I get on there, I'm very likely to actually work on job applications or whatever serious thing that I need to work on. Because I just literally don't have distractions on it, like, at all. Um, and, you know, honestly, like, working on it like that kind of makes it feel a little bit like a game. Um, I've applied to a couple of new jobs, which, hoping that I hear something back, but I don't know. So the thing is, I also recently started using Indeed again, instead of just, LinkedIn, because you know, for quite a while, like a couple of years, like a year or two ago or whatever, like I had used Indeed a bit to look for jobs, but I was not having like any luck with it because it felt like Indeed was just giving me really bad job suggestions like every time that I went to use it. And I don't really know why that was, but it never seemed to actually give me anything that I would want to apply for. So yeah, I never really like I just kind of stopped using it. But then LinkedIn has jobs, but LinkedIn doesn't have like the width or the breadth of the variety of jobs that wait, which one am I missing? Oh, jeez. God, I haven't played Zombies in Spaceland in a while. Which portal am I missing? The arcade. So yeah, but I finally decided to check it out again, and I was like, oh wait a minute, like Indeed actually is kind of fixed for me now. Like it's actually giving me some pretty good job, like not offers, hopefully offers, but some pretty good job options. So I looked on there. So if you're like me, and this is not an advertisement, I haven't been paid or anything to say this, but if you're like me, and you kind of stopped using Indeed for a little while because I don't know what happened to their algorithms or whatever for a while there, but if you had stopped using Indeed for a while, it actually seems to kind of be better now. So yeah, I've applied for like a handful of jobs again, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings because like my girlfriend helped me work on my resume and everything a while back. So I have like a nice fancy new resume and I found some jobs that like I'm actually qualified for and everything. But also it's like every time that I found jobs I'm qualified for in the past, I just still never hear anything back. Um, and yeah, it's just like job market just sucks right now. It's not even like a secret or anything. It's, you know, job market is really bad right now. There's tons of news stories about it, about how, you know, people can't find jobs and, you know, they apply for like thousands of jobs and they don't hear anything back. So I am glad that I at least have a job in a lot of ways, but that being said, my job also is like far from perfect. Um, Especially just because it really wears me down. Like it really wears me down a lot. Just because it's such a like physical job, and it's just I'm there a lot. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But that being said, actually, you know what? No, I don't want to use the wheel yet because I might want to pack a punch the M1 because the M1 when you pack a punch it gets auto aim, which is something nobody really seems to talk about, but it is true. So yeah, but yeah, job market is still like not great, and it's something that I've been dealing with ever since like 2020 because that's when a bunch of this crap started. Because I frankly don't even really understand it myself. I don't get why companies are doing the things they're doing in terms of the job market because a lot of the issues seem to be stemming from like ghost jobs and like AI nonsense, and I just really don't understand it. But I feel like I feel like there's been more of light shown on the job market issues ever since a bunch of people have now also been laid off in the past couple of years from jobs. So not only was there like all the people who graduated in the past couple of years like me and couldn't find jobs, but now you also have a ton of people who previously had jobs that don't have jobs and also can't find jobs now. Um, so yeah, but anyway, that's my little job ramble. Um, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can find something better because I I really, I don't know. It's like I don't hate where I work, but I just think the type of job that I have is really not working for me. And this is another thing too with the whole long COVID thing that I was talking about. Um, you know, the third time that I caught COVID, and I was saying about how like, that seems to be one that kind of really screwed me up. Um, the third time that I caught COVID, like, before that, I had been working my current job for like a couple months before that, and I'd come home from work and I would still be pretty raring to go. Like I wouldn't be like that tired out or anything, even though I'd been doing a lot. I even specifically remember a couple times like getting out of work, driving, going doing something after work, etc., etc. Whereas now, like ever since that third time I caught COVID, like I come home from work and a lot of the days I just end up like totally crashing. Sometimes I do a stream, but not even that often. Yeah, so uh but speaking of the channel, I also wanted to talk about some stuff that I've been working on for future videos and stuff. Now, like I said, I've been kind of slowing down what I've been working on a little bit on the channel lately, just because, like, I've been thinking about the realisticness of the channel, like, growing at all, and the fact that it's, like, I just don't really think YouTube is necessarily, like, a viable thing anymore because the market is so flooded with people that do the exact same thing that I do. Um, but it like honestly, a lot of entertainment industry stuff is kind of like that right now. But I am still working on stuff. I'm just just kind of taking my time with it a lot more, just kind of doing it when I want to rather than specifically trying to do it to like grow the channel or whatever, because it's been like 9 years that I've been working on this, and I still don't have like 1,000 subscribers. And there's so many other people who do the same thing, and it's like even if I hit 1,000 subscribers and the channel gets monetized, right, it's like that's still not gonna be perfect, you know what I mean? That's still like, even if my channel got monetized, you have to have so many views to actually make a significant amount of money from YouTube that it's like, what? Why? Like, I don't know. I feel like there was an era where it kind of made sense to grind on YouTube, maybe back in like the early 2010s when you first started getting people who were doing YouTube as like a full-time job and stuff. But now, any sort of social media job, I really feel like the whole industry of it is just kind of dying. Because there's just too many people. And I mean, it's good. It's raining. It's good that that there's a lot of people who've been successful with it, and I'm happy for them. But yeah. Anyway, though, this stream's been a little depressing, hasn't it? So, like I said, let me talk about stuff that I'm working on. In a happy, let's talk about something happy. So, I'm working on the next video, the next like large video. I had a couple like larger video ideas for a while that I just never got around to, but now I'm actually finally getting around to working on them. Oh, also, which reminds me, so the Division video, the Division review, I finally uploaded that. That took me a while to make. That has only gotten like 2 views in the past couple of days, so I do not think I'm going to be making any more reviews anytime soon. I was curious to see how it would go because I know that there's a lot of people who like my videos that are similar to reviews, but almost nobody has watched the actual review of a game, so I think that maybe is that another Volk? Huh. I think that maybe I just don't need to focus on reviews because I just don't think that that's the type of thing people watch on the channel. Which actually I might talk a little bit more about statistics in a minute here on the channel, but yeah, so oh wow, that was maybe not my best purchase because I am literally almost out of ammo now. Oh, I might be in a bad position here. I need 750 points to get more ammo for the Volk, but I think I only need 250 to get more ammo for the other gun that I have, the M1. So anyway, see, Call of Duty Zombies is really all about budgeting. Although, actually, I might be able to use one of the Fate and Fortune cards. I don't usually use Fate and Fortune cards that much. No, not that one. Wrong button. There we go. Oh, actually, that's, well, dang it, I could have used that a minute ago. Oh. If I can get one more good grenade hit on some zombies, and I can get 250 points, and that's actually how many I need to get ammo for my M1, that might work out. So, yeah, future video ideas. Okay, so the next big video that I'm working on, it's about Infamous, the PlayStation series. So, I actually, so if you think about Infamous, I'm gonna kind of try to explain it without like spoiling it. But if you think about Infamous, Infamous is, you know, it's a pretty interesting series. A lot of the games in that series did unique things. And actually, in fact, every single Infamous game has some sort of really unique thing that it did, whether it was unique for the series or unique in general for the games at the time. For games at the time. And so I've got a video that I'm working on right now about like unique things that different Infamous games did. The only thing is, in order to get to some of the, I need to get to like certain points in some of the games in order to show the things that I'm talking about. And that can take quite a while. So like for in this also is going to be a video about literally every single Infamous game. So there's 5 games in total to talk about. Because alongside the main 3 games, there was 2 spin-offs. There was Festival of Blood and First Light. So like for Infamous Second Son, in order to show the thing that I want to talk about with that, I needed to get to a certain point in the game that is like, I think it's like a third of the way through the game. So I had to play it for like 2 or 3 hours in order to get to that point. And then Infamous 1 and 2 and Festival of Blood, I'm not sure how long. In First Light, I actually didn't need to play for that long to get where I needed to be, but I had to play that for like another 30 minutes as well to get to the point I needed to be. Infamous 1 and 2 and Festival of Blood, I'm not entirely sure how long I have to play those to get to the points where I need, but I think it might be at least like an hour each. So that's the point that I'm at in that video, is just getting to the point in the games that I need to be at to record the segment that I want to do. But yeah, it's gonna be a cool video when I'm done with it. I think it'll be interesting. And then I also have been working on a video, so I don't remember if I've revealed this yet or not, but I had kind of a secret video that I was working on because I literally couldn't talk about it because like NDA stuff. But Skate, the Skate beta. I was a beta tester for Skate, like the early beta stuff, like the really early beta stuff before the well, not like the really early beta stuff, but like the early beta stuff before the open beta thing that it's in now. And so I actually recorded some footage of the early beta stuff and like, you know, my thoughts about it and everything, because and it actually said it at one point that you can you could, like, that you weren't supposed to upload anything about it until the game came out, but the game is out now. So I have actually like a good hour and a half, if not more, I think, of footage of me kind of playing and commentating over 2 different points in the Skate beta. And so I'm going to try to edit that and like put that together maybe, but I'm still not entirely sure about that because I don't know if it'll be good or not, so we'll see. Also, the other thing too is the Skate beta had these numbers that were in the background of your screen at all times, and I think it was that way they could like ban people who were streaming it or recording it early. And I need to make sure that those are not some sort of like identifying number, because like, you know, like some sort of IP address thing or something, because that might not be good to upload if it is. So I'm not totally sure if that video will actually come out, but it's a thing that I've been kind of working on. Oh, hey y'all, Red. Yeah, you caught me live today. I'm playing some Infinite Warfare Zombies right now. Sorry, I don't know when you sent that chat message. Since I'm on PC right now, it's kind of hard for me to see the chat because I have to like turn all the way around to look at the other screen. So that's some stuff I'm working on, and but in general, like I was saying about not really doing reviews stuff because that review that I didn't really do that well. You know, I decided to actually finally like take a look at some of the statistics for the channel, and I've realized that like the videos that do the wellest on here are kind of the videos that I like to make the most anyway, which are the videos where I kind of show interesting things in a sort of tutorial format, where I show like the Club Penguin videos that I make, where I show how to do stuff in Waddle Forever, or like the things about, I don't know, like the Rocket League on PS3 video I did about supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle cars, and that got a bunch of views because that was kind of a interesting topic. I like the neon lights in IW. Yeah, I really like Infinite Warfare a lot. I talked about it at the beginning of the stream, but I really like the zombies mode in Infinite Warfare in particular. It's probably my favorite zombies mode. I was gonna play, if I had Attack of the Radioactive thing on PC, I would have played that, but I only have that on the PS4 version because I'm too cheap to buy the DLC again on PC right now. But yeah, what was I? Yeah, I was talking about. Oh, so I've got some videos like that kind of stuff, tutorial type stuff about unique things in the works. I've got a video idea related to UB Funkies. I've got a video idea related to a couple of arcade games actually. So I just gotta like find time to do that stuff, and also hopefully if I find a better job, I can spend more time doing that type of stuff. Rocket League prequel on PS3. Yeah, that was the video. I don't know if that's my most popular video, but it might be. That video got like 40,000 views or something. If I remember right, part of that was that my timing was pretty good there, because I think it got like announced for a new console, or it was like free on the Epic Games store or something for a while. Yeah, I got that and the Burnout Paradise video. Both of those are videos that I got pretty lucky with in terms of timing. Oh, like I was saying, so the cool thing about this one, which nobody ever seems to talk about in relation to Infinite Warfare Zombies, is that once you upgrade this gun, it gets auto-aim. So that big reticle on the screen, watch this, like if I aim anywhere and there are zombies in the reticle, it will always hit them. This weapon does that, and so does the Starbright. I don't remember what the Unpack-a-Punch version of the Starbright is, but the Starbright also does that, and nobody ever talks about it. I don't understand it. But yeah, now I don't even have to aim when I use the M1. Like, look. See, I'm barely even aiming at these guys, and yet it's getting them. That's a video idea that I've thought about making before, is how the M1 and the Starbright are super underrated in Infinite Warfare Zombies, because I don't think people realize that this is what the reticle does. I think, because I've seen people talk about these guns in videos before and talk about the reticle and not really understand what it does. Especially because, you know, in Call of Duty Zombies, you have like a tendency to aim down sights, and so when you do that, that just negates the effect of this cool reticle. But yeah. I've never really played zombies much in COD. You know, I didn't really play Call of Duty Zombies that much myself either until high school. And then, like, I think it was over my winter break or something one year. I just was like, you know what? I'm going to get good at Call of Duty Zombies. And I just played Black Ops 2 Zombies, like, non-stop for, like, a week straight and ended up getting kind of okay at it. I'm not great at it, but if you watch some of my older videos, I used to be on a couple top 10 leaderboards for stuff. I actually was in the top 10 for Infinite Warfare Zombies for a little while, too, for Attack of the Radioactive thing. I think it was Attack of the Radioactive thing, No Power, that challenge, and I was in 10th or 9th place for that. But yeah, Yell Red, I would suggest, if you haven't played Call of Duty Zombies, it is really fun. You should check it out. It can be kind of challenging, but it's honestly pretty easy to kind of get the hang of it. Once you learn how to, like, do zombie trains and stuff like that, and, like, learn which perks are good and, you know, strategies and how to budget your points and, like, you know, how to save up points quick and everything, it's really fun. Pretty impressive. Thank you. Yeah, There was a video, I think it was like right after I finished. Was it right after I finished college? Or no, I think it was like over a weekend in college. I decided that I was just gonna go and like get on a ton of leaderboards, so I ended up getting on, I think it was 2 Infinite Warfare leaderboards and 2 Modern Warfare 3 survival leaderboards. And I did it all in one night, which was insane. Took me a long time, and then I had to like edit the videos and everything. Yeah, it's fun though. Infinite Warfare Zombies in particular, I played a ton because this came out around the time that I graduated high school, and like I don't really know. Like I've mentioned it a little bit on stream before, and it's like something that I always feel a little weird about mentioning because it's like a real life thing. But I actually went through like a really bad breakup my senior year of high school, and it's something I'll have to like someday when I do a Draw My Life video, I'll talk about it a little more in depth. But pretty much, I got like really badly bullied after that breakup my senior year of high school, and I was kind of just miserable. But I used to, on the weekends, I would just play Infinite Warfare Zombies and listen to like, you know, the like weird like radio shows that come on at like 2 a.m. about aliens and stuff. And honestly, yeah, I had the time of my life doing that. I had so much fun late night Call of Duty Zombies and like weird radio shows. It was like it helped me get past that breakup and everything, and it really helped. And also like the radio shows got me into like doing college radio, and then subsequently that helped me with making videos because I learned how to like use, you know, a hosting voice and talk to people like live and stuff, and you know, host things, and helped me get radio experience, which maybe someday will help me get like a radio job or something. I don't know. Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, it that was a weird time in my life because it was one of those things where looking back on it, it has had like no real overwhelming effect on my life. But you know, when you're in high school, it's one of those things where like high school is the only thing you know, and it feels like such a major thing. And the thing was, it was like it wasn't even so much that like the breakup itself was the issue, because like I feel like I actually got over that relatively quickly. It was just the fact that like, and it was weird. It wasn't even my ex-girlfriend that was really causing the issues, but it was her friends specifically. And it was just such a mess. Like I remember even my high school, like the administration of my high school had to get involved because it was getting to be such a problem, not only for me but just throughout the school. It was, yeah, it was nasty. Hang on, I gotta pause to read these messages. 2 a.m. alien radio shows. Sounds like a blast. Just finished playing Battlefield Bad Company 2. Oh, I didn't even mean to do Carpenter, but okay. Where did the Carpenter power up spawn? Did I already grab it? Yeah, it was fun though. I remember one time too, I was up visiting my dad, and he liked, my dad always liked a lot of the same stuff as me. So one time me and him, well, he didn't really play like video games that much. Like he would play with me, but like he wasn't that great at them. So this one time it was like 11 p.m. or midnight or something, and me and him just like, I was playing Call of Duty Zombies. I was playing Infinite Warfare Zombies, and we were listening to Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis, which that one's gotten a little bit political now. That one used to be pretty chill. That one used to not really get too into politics, but now it's a little bit more of a political show, which is not great. But before that, you know, Clyde Lewis used to talk about aliens and all sorts of crazy stuff. And it was so much fun, me and him just like hanging out and playing video games and listening to that. Yeah, and then what you were saying about Bad Company 2. Is this one? Oh no, this might have been a mistake. Can you change? I don't remember. This gun, I can't remember if this gun transforms. Oh great, I just threw a grenade exactly where I need to go. Okay, there we go. Battlefield Bad Company 2 is really good. I like Battlefield Bad Company 2, in my opinion, has some of the best destruction in a Battlefield game today. Like, even compared to like Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 6, Battlefield Bad Company 2 has such good destruction. and like how whole buildings and stuff will fall down. And like, you know, Battlefield 4 had Levolution and stuff where like there were certain scripted events, and like Battlefield Hardline had that too. How there was like that one map in Battlefield 4 where that big tower could fall over, or like there was in Battlefield Hardline there was like a, how does this gun work again? Does it charge up? I don't remember how this gun works. I'm trying to, I want to get the Starbright so I can demonstrate the thing that I was talking about earlier. But anyway, I have tons of points to get the Starbright too, actually, if I want. But in Battlefield Bad Company 2, you know, like, if you, like, drilled into a house and you just, like, drilled around the house, like, the whole house would fall apart. Like, everything in Bad Company 2 would fall apart, and it was so cool. I first played Bad Company 2 in 2013 and finished it a decade later. Notice the buildings fall apart. Yeah, it's so good. And there's so much like destructive weaponry in that game too, because like there's like all the explosives and stuff. I really like to play as an engineer in Battlefield because like it's cool to support the vehicles and also be able to like destroy vehicles too. Yeah, actually though, I played Bad Company 2 probably around the same time that you played it. 2013 was 2013. 2013 was a couple years after it came out. I played it for the first time. I think, yeah, I got Bad Company 2 on launch day actually. But I remember it was okay. I have another crazy story in a second here. Another crazy personal story. But yeah, Bad Company 2, I really like it, and the campaign in Bad Company 2 is fun too, even though like it's one of those games that I think was like largely multiplayer. I really like the ending of Bad Company 2's campaign, which like normally I wouldn't talk about it too much because I wouldn't want to spoil it, but it's such an old game, and also you said you finished playing it, so like it's so cool like when you're like skydiving in that last scene and like you're shooting at the bad guy, and then in of all places you land in Texas. Like yeah. Mostly playing PS3 while I work and save for a PS4 or 5. Yeah, dude, I still play PS3 so much. I haven't played it a lot lately because I've actually like finally been playing some PS5 games because I have a pretty good PS5 collection. But PS3 is still my favorite console. I adore the PlayStation 3. It's such a good middle ground console, if you know what I mean. Like it's like it came out at a point where you know you could play online multiplayer and stuff, and you can get DLC. And there was a bunch of like still pretty relevant games released for it. I mean, like Grand Theft Auto 5 is on there, Battlefield 4 is on there. Like a bunch of games that are still like getting updated now are still on there in some format. Payday 2 is on PS3, but it's also like old enough that it doesn't have as much annoying stuff. Like you can still play online without PlayStation Plus. You can the graphics on it are still 1080p or 720p, which you know it doesn't look as great as 4K, but it still looks pretty dang good in a lot of games. Yeah. You still remember that? Wait, what do I still remember? I've already forgot. Oh, the ending of Bad Company 2. Of course I remember the ending of Bad Company 2. Dude, that was like when I was a kid, like I mean when I was a kid, I never really had money of my own, so like if I wanted a game, I had to like beg my parents to get it for me. And like my parents were kind of strict about like what games they would get me and stuff, because like they didn't want me to have M-rated games for a long time and stuff. And then like, you know, my mom has always been kind of anti-video game, and my dad got it, but like he still, you know, he didn't want me to play video games all the time or anything. So like with whatever games I had, I played the crap out of them. And so like Bad Company 2, I played so much Bad Company 2, because that was also the only like first person shooter I had for a long time, because my parents were so worried about like, you know, me being corrupted as a youth or something. Great selection of games. Oh yeah, PS3 is awesome. No joke, I own over 300 PS3 games. And that's not even digital ones. I mean, legitimately, I own over 300 physical disc PS3 games. I have someday I will have to go through and do the math or show my spreadsheet in a video or something. I have a giant spreadsheet of all the media stuff that I own. And I own legitimately so many games. And like it's all physical games. Do you remember when PC physical games were a thing? Oh yeah, I have a bunch of physical PC games too. Yo, Red, if I remember right, you said before that you're from the UK, right? If you ever check out a CEX, they still have a lot of physical games at CEX too, but sometimes they kind of hide the PC game section, so like you gotta look for it. But I actually bought a ton of PC games when I was living over there for that year, and when I go back to visit, I often still buy a lot of PC games. Cause they're just fun. There's a lot of games on PC that are like still good today. Like I mean, there's a lot of games that even if they haven't like been updated in a long time, that like have mods and stuff, like GTA San Andreas, Battlefield 2, etc. etc. That's a huge collection. Yeah, dude, tell me about it. I literally don't have any room to live anymore. My space is all video games. I could probably build a whole house out of all the games that I have. Yeah, no, CEX has a lot of good PC games. Yeah, I actually have, I don't know how many physical PC games I have, but I have probably at least 100 PC games on disc, and a lot of those were ones that I bought when I was in the UK from CEX. I will have to check that sometime though. The only thing with PC games though is like, you know, even if you find like even if it's like a semi-modern game, like the physical versions don't always work, because sometimes it's like they'll have really specific requirements or whatever. So like, sometimes, you know, games for Windows Live stuff can be wonky, or sometimes a game will need to be activated on the internet or whatever, and like the activation servers for it don't exist anymore, or you'll need to download some sort of fan-made patch to get it to run at the right resolution, because if you don't do that, it won't run at all, and that kind of thing. But it's fun. I really like PC games. I really like PC games just for like the modding capabilities and stuff. But yeah, I gotta check out. I have a copy of The Simpsons Hit and Run on PC as well that I got at CEX. I think it was like 2 visits ago to the UK. And I gotta check out some mods for that, because I know there's some really good mods for Simpsons Hit and Run. Simpsons Hit and Run on PC is also a lot cheaper in the UK than it is here. That's one of the nice things about the fact that like I go to the UK relatively often, is that like I kind of have gotten the best of both worlds a little bit in terms of like being able to buy games cheaper there sometimes. There's some games that are cheaper here in the US, but there's a lot of games that are cheaper in the UK. Kind of surprising ones sometimes too, like 50 Cent Blood on the Sand is like way cheaper there. Siren Blood Curse you can't even buy in the US. You can, but like it's way more expensive because it never came out in the US, so there's a lot of stuff like that. Oh, hang on, there's a long message there. Let me see what that says. I still have my PC games from 2012, but they're all linked to EA and the codes are single use, so I can't play the games, or can't play the discs. I've just begun watching The Simpsons. Yeah, the EA thing, I actually have, yeah, I've had that happen before too. That's the thing with like, I'd say probably like most games after like 2010 on PC, like even if they came with a disc, like they had a code. Like sometimes even older games will have an activation code, but a lot of the times it's like a multi-use code, or you don't even have to activate it. It's just like you only need the code for multiplayer or whatever. But yeah, I know what you mean. I actually found a copy of Shift 2, Need for Speed Shift, or yeah, Need for Speed, is it Need for Speed? Yeah, Need for Speed Shift 2. And I remember that code was like kind of outdated, but it still worked on the EA launcher, which is kind of funny. So in like my EA account, I think I just have The Sims 4 and Shift 2. gun watching The Simpsons. I like The Simpsons. You know, I've actually not really watched The Simpsons that much myself either. Most of my experience with The Simpsons, I guess, is The Simpsons Hit and Run. Don't think this is working on. I probably should get a better gun because this one is not really doing that much. Oh my god. There we go. Wait, did I not? Oh, I killed the zombie behind him. I really want to kind of get to the end of a round and save a zombie so that way I can go spin the wheel a couple more times, try to get the star right. We'll see though. This gun is not that great though because I think it is supposed to charge up. Big ammo supply though. Oh, insta-kill. Oh, yeah, we got insta-kill. Cool. Perfect for a very fast rate of fire gun like this. I just got back into gaming. So far completed Undertale, Assassin's Creed 3, and Bad Company 3. I'm assuming AC3 is Assassin's Creed 3. You know, it is important sometimes to take a break from gaming cuz you know, I get that. Like I've been somebody who's spent probably too much time in life gaming and like it's easy to get distracted with it. It is kind of nice sometimes to take a little break from it and then come back to it. Sometimes now, like I'll go and I'll like not play games for like a couple of weeks. Like I'll watch some TV shows and movies and stuff instead. And then you know when you come back to it, it's like refreshing. You know, I've never played Undertale or Assassin's Creed 3. I have Assassin's Creed 3, I think. And I've wanted to play it because it seems really interesting. It's also one of those few games with Native American protagonists, which I always find that to be really fascinating viewpoint. Yeah, and Undertale is one of those games that I've heard a lot about, but I'm almost a little bit afraid to play it just because like I know it's kind of complex. I need to get a new gun from the Pack-a-Punch, or not Pack-a-Punch, the wheel, regardless. Oh, type. Oh, this one. This one swaps into two separate guns if I can remember the... Which button is it? Hang on. Control options, movement. Which button are you? Actions. Switch weapon, use tactical alternate. Oh, it's literally the alt button. Okay. There it is. Yeah, this one turns into two smaller guns. Having a great time with early and mid 2010 games. Oh, but then BRB. Sorry, y'all. Right? Okay. I will try to wait till you're back to talk about early to mid 2010 games because I too really enjoy those. There's a ton of clowns on this round. I guess I am getting relatively high up in the rounds now. That man, that burned through my ammo. Oh my god. I might need to go, man. Ooh, I'm probably gonna need to hit the wheel up again after this round. The thing is, I think eventually once you get to the higher rounds, you end up having the giant zombies spawn in like every round, or sometimes you get like 2 of them at a time. You know, it might just be me, but I don't remember this gun being rapid fire. Oh, I forgot, because I'm so used to the newer Call of Duty zombies. I haven't played Infinite Warfare zombies in a while. This was still back when you got 10 points for every hit you got on a zombie, too. That's really nice. It makes it way easier to farm points. But also, good God, my ammo reserves are dwindling. Wait a minute, hang on a second. I just noticed something about this gun. If I swap to that, and then I do that, and then I do that. Huh. That is okay. That is interesting. Did y'all just notice that with the ammo count? I hope I get another max ammo sooner. I might just pack a punch this just to show you guys what I just noticed about that gun's ammo count. That was really weird. So if you if you have the gun as one gun, you get a 32 round magazine. But then if you split it in half, you get 2 32 round magazines. And then if you recombine it, you get a 64 round magazine. That is really strange. I don't know if that's a glitch. That's odd. Hang on. I'm doing this just to get some more ammo. Alright, so 48 rounds in it right now. We go to alternate fire. We reload 48 rounds in each magazine, in each half of the gun. We combine it back together, and now we have 96 rounds in total. Huh. That's interesting. I don't know if that's a gameplay mechanic or a glitch. Either way, I'm not complaining. Yeah, because if I try to reload right now, I can't reload. So the max you can get with it being one single gun is 48. But then if I do that little reload, that little glitch right there. Wait, nope. You gotta split them apart and then reload again. Then, huh. That's so strange. Oh, unlimited ammo though. Oh crap, that was the end of the round. I didn't even realize that. That would have, dang it, if I had realized that, I would have tried to go spin the wheel again, because this thing burns through ammo. Although, wait, where'd my ammo reserve counter go? Oh, there we go. Oh no. This is getting a little dicey. There we go. And split and reload and combine. You know, I've noticed you can juke a lot better on PC just because you have such mouse controls. You can move a lot faster, and I don't know for sure, but it sure does seem like that helps to avoid getting hit by zombies. Man, they seem to be getting faster. Okay, I absolutely need to go spin the wheel a couple times once we get this crowd thinned out. Alright, I think we're getting towards the end of the round here, so let's go towards the... oh, nope. Pack-a-punch. Or not pack-a-punch. The wheel. The mystery box. The mystery wheel. The magic wheel, that's what it is. Come on. Oh. The Ravage, okay. This is really not what I want though still. Man, I have a ton of points saved up. Okay, well now we have a crawler. He's fast too, good god. Right, where to move? Not done with you yet, Magic Wheel. The round might just end though. Yeah, crap, I had a feeling it would do that. Okay. Sometimes if you get too far from the zombie, it will... I don't think it will do that if you have a full zombie, but if you have a crawler, it will do that sometimes, I think, where it just kills the crawler off. To kind of force you on to the next round, which a little weird because that is kind of a pretty well-known zombie strategy. Oh, Yell Red, you're back. Yes, cool. I was about to respond to one of your messages and then I saw that you had left, so now I will respond to it now that you're back. Yeah, the what did you say? Early and mid 2010s games. Yeah, I love those games so much because like that's the era when I was in, you know, like middle school and high school and stuff, and so I was playing like a lot of video games on weekends, and man, there are just so many good games from that time period. It's really, it's like almost the same as what I said about the PS3 itself earlier, how it's kind of like a really golden age kind of console, in my opinion, about how like just like it's modern but without being annoyingly modern, you know what I mean? Like if you log into a PS3, you're not gonna have to deal with some of the annoying stuff that we have now with video games and stuff, and there's a lot of games from that era that are like that too, that like they're good, like they have good single player but they also have good multiplayer, like they weren't exclusively built on multiplayer, or like there will be games like, you know, some games now are just kind of built upon like DLCs and loot boxes and stuff, and some of the later games from that era have that stuff, but a lot of them don't, you know. Like if you play an older Call of Duty game and you want some camos, like you just play the game to get the camos, you know. Although I guess they did have some camos, but you didn't have to get them through a mystery box or a battle pass. You could just buy the DLC, you know. You know, I was a little disappointed at first to get the shotgun out of the magic wheel, but it's not doing that bad. Still, I do want to try to get down to like one zombie and then spin the wheel again a bunch of times. Yeah, I don't really like those elements either. 2010s games are solid. They really, really were. And the thing is, too, like a lot of games that came out back then are still popular, you know what I mean? Like I was saying about Grand Theft Auto 5 earlier, but it goes beyond that. Like there's a lot of games from back then that are still popular, that have been re-released for newer consoles, or like they're still getting updates on like modern versions and stuff. There's a lot of games from back then that are really good and like still around. I mean, if you log into like any old Call of Duty or Battlefield game, like you will still be able to get into a match on there, or even some games like you can still play multiplayer. Like BioShock 2, Y'all read, I don't know if you've ever played the BioShock 2 multiplayer. Like, yeah, okay, BioShock has good story and all that stuff. Like, I know people like to rant and rave about the BioShock story, and it is good. But BioShock 2's multiplayer is really fun also. If you haven't played it before, I would heavily suggest it, especially because not always, but relatively often, you can still find active matches of BioShock 2's multiplayer mode, because it's like it's an FPS, but it also is like it's like a superpower FPS because you still have plasmids and stuff. It's really really fun. Undertale. Ew, hang on, I gotta wait. Hang on, I'll read that in a second. What did I get? What did I get? What did I get? What did I get? Is that the Ravage again? What the heck? Alright, I gotta get back this direction, but it might take me a second. Okay, here we go. What did you say? Undertale's such a comforting, fun, and hilarious game. Really enjoyed it. Been thinking about playing BioShock Infinite. I might check it out. Honestly, dude, all of the BioShock games are really solid. And so, okay, so like a little bit of just my own personal opinion. Although, fun fact, I wrote part of my grad school dissertation on BioShock, so I'm something of a expert. Now, I don't want to sound snobby, I'm just joking, but if you do decide to play some of the BioShock games, you can play BioShock Infinite on its own. You don't need to play the other ones for it, which is nice. If you're going to play BioShock 2, if you're going to play the story of BioShock 2, it's worth playing BioShock 1 first in order to understand it. Honestly, like it's to the point now though where all the BioShock games are cheap enough that you can probably get all 3 of them for pretty cheap and play all 3 of them. They're all definitely worth playing. They're all really good in their own ways. The characters are silly and dialogue's great. There's wordplay, butterscotch pie in the inventory being butts pie was hilarious. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anything bad about Undertale. I don't know. It's one of those games that I feel like has such a following that it almost makes me hesitant to play it. I'll have to check it out maybe someday. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Didn't Undertale came out on PS Vita, didn't it? Like, I mean, it came out on other consoles too, but I mean, I think it also came out on Vita. Play it on PS Vita. Whole dissertation on BioShock. Well, okay, so it wasn't my whole dissertation, but my dissertation in grad school, because I studied like writing in school. My dissertation in grad school, in particular, though, was on books that are based on video games. Because, like, you know, there's a lot of video games that are based on books and a lot of other media stuff that, like, it starts out as a book and then, you know, becomes a game eventually. But I wanted to go the other direction. So franchises that started as video games and then eventually got books. And one of the really famous examples of that is BioShock. So BioShock was a pretty big section of it, especially because, like, BioShock itself as a game actually... so BioShock is also one of the few games out there that has, like, actual, like academic writing done on it. Not that many video games get that treatment, but BioShock did, so that made my dissertation slightly easier because, like, I could quote stuff. But yeah, I wrote a pretty big chunk on it. I covered BioShock, I talked about Club Penguin, Alan Wake, and The Division. So that was, yeah, ooh, the Mauler. Okay, I might have to stick with the Mauler for a little bit. This one's pretty good too. Hold on, let me try to get one last spin in real quick. That's surprising. It's based off a book. Well, so not BioShock itself. BioShock, the first game of BioShock is not based off a book, but there's a book based off the game. So there was a book. It's called BioShock Rapture, and it came out between the first game and the second game. It was kind of like a like a prequel slash. Well, it was sort of a prequel to the entire series, but it also sort of connected the points between Bioshock 1 and 2 a little bit. It's actually a really good read. If you end up playing Bioshock and get really into it, it's a good book to read. But yeah, there's yeah, it's cool. Honestly, there's a lot of really interesting nuances in books that are based off of video games. I had a lot of stuff to talk about in that dissertation. There's also a lot of really fascinating examples of, like, you know, writers trying to like retain gameplay elements in a completely different format, which is pretty cool. Oh, sweet Jesus. That was a fun project. I actually had a lot of fun working on that dissertation, although, you know, of course, oh, there's two of them. Of course, it was a little stressful because it was, you know, grad school and everything. I got a little weird with my dissertation, though, with how I wrote it. I ended up, like, we had to actually write it over summer. We didn't have any classes or anything. Like, our last, like, term was just entirely dissertation writing. So I remember I had like other stuff that I wanted to do. So I ended up just kind of sitting down over the course of like 1 or 2 weeks after I read through all the books I needed to read through and played through the games I needed to play. And I literally just sat down and just wrote, like, how many words did my dissertation need to be? I don't even remember how many words it needed to be. It needed to be a lot of words, but I set a goal of like 1,000 words a day for myself. And I just plowed through my dissertation, and I didn't really even have that much editing for it or anything. Hang on, let's see. Usually book sequels, movies. Yeah, that's usually the way it goes, is like stuff starts as a book and then gets turned into a movie or a game or whatever, but there are examples of stuff the other way, which is, it's really cool. I remember Alan Wake. Alan Wake is cool. I like Alan Wake a lot. The second game, I know a lot of people really like Alan Wake 2. I really didn't like Alan Wake 2 that much, though. I thought it was a really strange direction for the game to go in, because it plays very differently than the first game. You've heard a lot about Undertale, so you're overthinking it. It's kind of linear, casual, and a good challenge. I'd recommend it. I'll think about checking it out. I know it has a pretty interesting combat system. That seems kind of cool. I just remember in high school, okay, here's the thing with Undertale for me, like in particular, right? I remember in high school, this is gonna sound so mean. I remember in high school, there was a couple kind of strange kids who were really into Undertale, and that would be like all they would talk about. And they were like a little too into it, you know? They would be like you'd go to school and you talk to them, and they'd be like, dude, I'm gonna do another Undertale run. It was like, I don't know, it put a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth for the game, because I know that people really, really like it, but when you have some kind of strange kids in high school talking about it all the time, it sort of puts you off of it a little bit, but I think that can be said about kind of anything. That sounds interesting, being able to choose your hobby as a topic for the dissertation. The thing is, like, for me, when I was in school, right, like, I had a weird time in college in a lot of ways. But I mean, honestly, I have a lot of weird times in my life. But so in particular, though, when I was in school, I really like media stuff. I think it's pretty obvious by watching the channel that, like, I just like entertainment stuff. I like video games, I like movies, I like music, I like books. I like everything that just, like, entertains you. But the thing is, when I went to college, I didn't really realize what you could study in college. So when I started college, I was like, okay, because I really actually don't read that much. When I started college, I was like, okay, like I gotta pick a, you know, a major that lines up with my interests so I don't go insane. And so I ended up just doing writing and English studies stuff, because I was like, yeah, this kind of aligns with like movies and video games and stuff, because, like, you know, every entertainment medium has some sort of script. Of course, I didn't really realize that like film studies was a thing, and that like some schools even have like video game studies stuff now. So that's why I ended up studying that in undergrad, undergrad like Undertale, haha. uh, and but then I went to grad school, and it was like, well, dang, like I already did, this for my undergrad. I guess I'm just gonna continue it. So, oh, no, 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 go to the projection room. I keep hitting E instead of F. Uh, and so, like, I ended up, so I got to grad school, and I was like, okay, like I guess I'll just continue on with the English stuff. But again, I mean, I just like it was funny because like a lot of my friends that I made when I was in grad school who were studying the same thing as me, like a lot of them read books outside of classes and stuff, and they would talk to me, and I would be like, yeah, bro, I literally don't read like anything outside of class. So when it came time to write my dissertation, I was like, well, now's my opportunity. Like, I could probably tie video games into this. And, it's one of those things where it's like a cultural thing too between the US and the UK. Whenever I would talk about this type of thing as an undergrad in the US, a lot of my professors didn't really seem to understand it. But then when I went to the UK, a lot more of my professors seemed to understand the idea that I was going for. And a lot more of my professors actually seemed to be gamers themselves, which was really, really interesting. I had some really cool conversations with some of my professors. Of course, a lot of them were not necessarily out here playing Call of Duty Zombies or anything, but like a couple of them had played Alan Wake, a couple of them had at least heard of BioShock. Yeah, I literally don't read books. Yeah, y'all read. I am pretty much the same way. It's really funny for having 2 degrees in English. I really don't read that much either myself. um, but yeah, I mean, I read a little bit more now, just cause like one of the things, I talk about my job sometimes and how like I can buy a lot of like entertainment stuff at a really good discount through my job. I can buy books for really cheap, so I do buy books sometimes, but I mean, I really don't read books that much either. Sometimes I'll read like manga. I mean, I'm trying to think, when was the last time I actually sat down and read a book? I think it was Julian Comstock. Like, I don't even remember. That was a while ago that I finished that too. That was kind of a cool one. That was like a sci-fi one. The thing with books is that like it's almost more fun to read books after you've been done with school for a while, because like a lot of the books they make you read in school are kind of boring, but like once you get done with school and you can kind of pick what you want to read, and you don't have to like worry about reading like the literary type of stuff, it can be a lot of fun to read just like cheap fiction, like stuff that is not necessarily going to end up on any like top 10 most impactful book things. It's just fun to find stuff with like interesting concepts, because there's a lot of books out there that have really cool concepts that haven't really been explored. Okay, we're good. Been explored in other formats. Like I like alternate history stuff quite a bit. I think that's cool. I like apocalypse stuff. Yeah. But I know there's also a couple like comedy books that I have that are fun, that are kind of built to be funny. Honestly, sometimes I like to read kids books just because they're so easy to read, and they're so simple, and a lot of times they're really, really funny. I bought the first Dogman book not that long ago because I know that I just kept overhearing parents talk about it so much. And I was like, yeah, like I'll go ahead and try Dogman, but I haven't read it yet. I've heard The Investigators is good. That one seems to be popular with kids. I might have to check out The Investigators. I really want to read Geronimo Stilton. Geronimo Stilton is one of those book series that when I was a kid, I remember a bunch of my friends really liked, but I never really read it. I don't know why, I just never did. But those ones seem kind of cool because like they got the words on the. I sound like a 7-year-old right now. Those got the cool words and the fun shapes on the pages. Yeah, like honestly, like when I read through the Club Penguin, I've only read through a couple of the Club Penguin books, but like reading through some of the Club Penguin books has been really fun. Yeah. Ooh, or Five Nights at Freddy's. I own a bunch of the Five Nights at Freddy's books, and those are, honestly, it's hard to call those kids books because they deal with like death a lot and stuff. Why am I keep getting the howitzer? But the Five Nights at Freddy's books are pretty cool too. They almost are like a modern version of Goosebumps, I guess. Oops. Oh, Jesus, dude, come on. What are you saying? Can relate. Brought some books from my childhood when I was in college. Cool words, baby. Cool shapes. For real though, dude. Like, cool words and cool shapes. I will read the heck out of that book. Can I buy... Oh, wait. You can have more than 4 perks on this map? I thought this was one of the ones you could only have 4 perks on. When I was in college, what did I spend? You know, I've spent a lot of my free time in college, I guess doing this. I played a lot of video games in college. I was like one of the only people that brought like a TV to college with me because like I brought my PS4 with me. And then in grad school, in grad school, I wasn't really sure like if/when I would buy a TV and like what I was gonna do. So I brought my Switch, but then funny enough, I really didn't play my Switch very much. I bought a PS3 when I was in the UK, which I still own because it's really useful to have a different region like DVD and Blu-ray player. But I ended up playing. Yeah, I played a lot of video games in college. It was really funny though, because I remember like whenever I would have friends over to my room, they would be like, "Why do you have a TV? Why don't you just watch things on your laptop?" And I was like, "Because I'm a gamer." Also, you know, people act like TVs are like so expensive still. They act like it's so weird to walk into somebody's room, into like a college kid's room, and see a TV. You can get a TV for so cheap now. Like, you can get a TV for under $100. I mean, you can get a new TV for under $100, but even more than that, you can get like, if you go and get a used TV, you can get a TV for like under $50 now. Like, people act like TVs are still like a big luxury item. They are not, in my opinion, at all anymore. Like, I actually, you know, Black Friday was that yesterday? Yeah, I guess that was yesterday. God, it has been a long 24 hours. On Black Friday, I saw like full size, you know, TVs. They weren't 4K. They were just HD. But like they were on sale for like $80, and they were brand new and they were big. You could buy a small used TV at like a Goodwill or some other thrift store for next to nothing. Come on, where is the Starbright? I remember trying to watch King of the Hill on my PS4 and it was region locked. Oh, dude, that is the most annoying thing. Yeah. Cause like I remember it kind of sucks sometimes cuz like my girlfriend is still over in the UK. And so there's been times before where like there'll be like a show that she likes and I find like a big season of it here or whatever. And like I'm like, "Oh, that'd be cool if I could buy it on like DVD or Blu-ray and send it to her." She has a PS3 also, so I know she can watch it. But then like it wouldn't work because of the region locking thing. But like it's nice having both the regions, like because I have that other PS3 from the UK still. Like my girlfriend can send me DVDs and stuff, and I can still watch those. Although then I have to dig out that PlayStation. That being said, you can if you ever do find yourself in possession of a DVD of the wrong region. There are a couple ways to work around that. You can, if you have a disk drive for your computer, you can get those for pretty cheap too if you get like just a USB one or whatever. You can usually watch any region video on a disk drive, on a DVD drive hooked up to a computer. Also, some standalone Blu-ray players or DVD players, sometimes there's actually like a code you can type in on the remote that will allow you to change the region of it. And if you have a console that can play DVDs like a PS3, sometimes you can actually you can. I just keep getting the same guns over and over again out of the magic wheel. Sometimes you can, if you mod them, then you can change the region as well. Like I know I have a Hen PS3, and that has an option on there to change the DVD region. I keep getting like the same 4 or 5 guns. TVs are everywhere. I find it really odd and interesting that TV makers also make fridges. Bush, Samsung come to mind. VLC, yeah, for real. VLC, or honestly, even just like Windows Media Player or like QuickTime, like they all work. I have a couple of VCDs of Ultraman from like Japan, and although I think Japan is actually in NTSC like the US is, so I'm not totally sure, but those work fine like on my computer. Heard about the code. Yeah, there's YouTube videos about how to do it and stuff. Yeah, but what you were saying about fridge makers also making TVs, that is a very good and funny point. You are very correct in that. I guess like it's just general electronics, you know? Like if you make a TV, I guess it's just kind of yeah, I mean, it is funny. Yeah, I guess it is just kind of like, well, a lot of fridges have screens on them now too, but it's like if you make a TV or a microwave or something, I guess half the work is already done to make like the other stuff, because you know all your power transformers and everything are there. Just slap a coaxial input and a screen on it and hope for the best. Where did the magic wheel spawn? Juke. I feel like they're worlds apart, TVs and fridges. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if my TV could keep my food cold, I guess, but can't have everything yet. Is that a bathroom? No, that's employees only. Where's... God, it's been too long since I played Zombies in Spaceland. I can't remember where all the Pack-a-Punch spots are. Or not Pack-a-Punch. I keep saying Pack-a-Punch. The magic wheel. The mystery box. Good God, I'm losing my mind. What time? Oh, Jesus Christ. It's past midnight. Oh, my God. You know, I remember thinking to myself a while ago, I was like, you know, when this match ends, I'll probably end the stream. But, like, I'm actually doing really well, so I don't know when this match will end. So I might end up having to actually stop playing at some point, kind of make an executive decision to stop playing and end the stream, because I am getting kind of tired. And I just started watching a new show the other... Where is this mystery box? What am I missing here? Where is... Where is... I feel like I'm just forgetting a mystery box location. I thought that there was one... Is there one over here somewhere? Where is this mystery box hiding? It says it's... Oh, I know where it is. It's underground. I think. Guess who finished 16? I'm assuming it was you, Yell Red. What did you think of it? I really like 16 also, but I've never finished actually watching the show. Or maybe it's in the Astrocade. 16 is a really cool show. I like the animation style of it. Where are you? No, wait, how am I getting further away? I really gotta find this magic wheel, otherwise I'm gonna be stuck with just these weapons for the rest of the match. But I can't for the life of me think of where else it could have spawned. I know I must be forgetting somewhere. But this is the only other place that I could think of that could possibly spawn is underground. But I don't see it down here either. Where are you? Where did it go? What? What part of the map am I forgetting? If I can't find it soon enough, I might just have to give up. But I'm going nuts not being able to find this mystery box. Where did it go? Leave me alone, zombie. It was right in front of me. How did I miss that? But this is not even that far from where the other mystery box spot is. Speaking of TV shows, whoa, back up off of me, bro. I started watching, I've actually been watching a couple shows. I've been kind of bouncing around. I started watching One Foot in the Grave. Well, okay, actually, yeah, I started watching One Foot in the Grave, but I only have one season of that, so I've finished the one season of One Foot in the Grave that I have. And then oh my god. And then I also have started watching Tripping the Rift, which is a show that I had never heard of before. I just randomly saw it one day at a store, like a used game store that sold DVDs and stuff too. And I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. Like I'll go ahead and check that out, because it's like this animated like comedy. It's actually Canadian, which might explain why I hadn't heard of it before, because I don't think it was ever broadcast anywhere in the US. But yeah, it's kind of, it's not really at all like Jimmy Neutron, but the concept of like space and aliens and stuff like that and silly things like that really reminds me of Jimmy Neutron a little bit. But it's not a kids show. It's like a full-on, you know, like Family Guy type of adult comedy show. It seems insane. But yeah. Really enjoyed the series. Once you finish the series, sometimes wish there was another season. I don't feel that for 16. Yeah, I get what you mean. Sometimes some shows almost like overstay their welcome a little bit. Like you really like you enjoy them, but you're kind of glad once they conclude, because it's like, yeah, I don't need any more of this. Yeah, I totally get what you mean on that one. It does suck when the opposite happens though sometimes, and like there's a show you really like that only got like 1 or 2 seasons. Like I watched Kings not that long ago, and I think I've mentioned it on stream before, but that was a show pretty much, it takes place in a world where like there's modern day monarchies. Like monarchies are still like a normal like form of government. But it's like in a modern world, and it's a really cool show, and it's really fascinating, but it only got 1 season, which is like, and it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, which sort of sucks. I do need to watch 16 at some point though. The only thing that's really kind of preventing me from watching 16 though is that like I really wish it had gotten a physical release, and I don't think it ever did. I know the entire show is available to stream on YouTube, but like if I'm gonna watch a TV show, I usually like to kind of sit down and watch it like on my TV, and I could just stream it on YouTube on my TV, but I just feel like I'm gonna forget about it unless I have like an actual DVD of it in my Blu-ray player. So you know, it's one of those types of situations. It's weird because it's like I didn't even find any bootleg copies of it online anywhere or anything. if I remember right, you can. Well, no, can you double pack a punch in Infinite Warfare? I think you can, but I think you need to do a thing first, which I haven't done yet. Yeah, fully upgraded. Yeah, you can double pack a punch, but you have to do another thing.
I wonder if these can be reconfigured.
This might actually legit be my record for Infinite Warfare zombies for the highest round I've gotten to, and I wasn't even meaning to. Hang on, I gotta go wipe my nose again. My nose is running a little bit again. Okay, I am back. Sorry for the sort of longer pause there. I had to kind of go on a search for tissues. Yeah, I've been like, I don't know. The seasons changing is kind of screwing with my sinuses lately because it's been where I live like sometimes because it doesn't really get like cold where I live. Like we don't really get snow that much. Like we usually get like a little bit, but like it doesn't stay. But sometimes it'll in like fall the temperature will just bounce back and forth, so it'll be really cold and then really warm and then really cold and then really warm, and that really messes with like your nose because pollen and all that stuff. Um, but I found some tissues, and also ASMR. I went and I got, this is not a beer. This is a soda. I got a Jones soda, and I figured I wanted to talk about that on stream a little bit too, because it's just another fun aspect of life to talk about. Let me read your messages here, Yell Red, because I see you sent a couple while I was gone. I think because the story feels like it's concluded, it was about a group of people hanging out at the shopping center, tons of subplots, and it really delivered, and I guess I'm satisfied with the ending. Missed a minute, you were talking about a TV show, go back. All I was talking about was pretty much just that I had started watching this show called Tripping the Rift. And it's like this show about it's a show about like aliens, and it's like a goofy like sci-fi show with like a Family Guy-ish type theming. I haven't really watched that much of it. It's Canadian, had never heard of it before. It's kind of funny, but I've only watched like half of the first episode, but it seems kind of cool. Yeah, no, I get what you mean though. I remember like I've read what the ending of 16 is, even though I haven't actually seen the ending of 16. Actually, fun fact: 16 is also a Canadian show. but yeah, it's it's uh it's cool. It's one of those things too where it's like it makes me almost nostalgic. 16 is a show that makes me nostalgic for an era that I never got to experience. Cause you know, like I'm in my mid 20s now. 16 was out when I was a kid, and I always thought that like, you know, being 16 was such an important age for me. Cause like in the U.S., that's where you know when you're 16, you can get your driving license. You know, you don't have all the freedom of an adult yet, but you have more freedom. Like you can get a job at 16 and stuff. Some places you can get a job a little bit younger than that, but yeah. And I remember like seeing, you know, watching the show, and it was like, oh man, like that'll be so cool when I'm 16 someday to like hang out at the mall with all my friends and stuff. And then like, you know, by the time I actually turned 16, malls had kind of died out, and like a lot of, at least here in the US, and like a lot of kind of public spaces and stuff kind of have disappeared. And it's sad because it's almost like an era that I know existed that I saw happen when I was a kid, but yet I never really got to fully experience because it was gone by the time I actually hit that age. Which I don't even mean to sound sad about it, but I just mean to be like, it's just so interesting how nostalgia can affect you in different ways depending on the scenario that you were in at a certain time, you know? Where like I know that this existed, you know, the concept of being a teenager and working in the mall and hanging out with your friends and stuff at the mall and everything, and knowing that that was a thing, but yet also being too young to really ever experience it. Oh god. Leave me alone. Oh, fire sale. I actually probably am going to have to swap the M1 for a different gun a little bit here, because even though the auto-aiming part is very cool, it's kind of starting to get useless. Another Canadian animation with aliens sounds interesting. I've been watching The Walking Dead, really enjoying it. Just got back to the present stream. I never really felt that for an age. I was like, oh, I'm right. I'm a year older now. Spaces disappearing sucks. Third spaces are really important for socializing. Hang on, let me process your messages here because I'm a little bit stupid, so it takes me a minute. Yeah. So Tripping the Rift is another Canadian show. It's like I think when you probably saw it because I think you rewinded the stream to watch what I was saying, but it almost reminds me a little bit of Jimmy Neutron, but like I don't even think Jimmy Neutron is a good comparison. It's a 3D animation rather than 2D animation. I can't really think of another show to compare it to, but it seems funny. It's a little bit older though. It's another kind of 2000s show, so it might be a little bit outdated and a little bit offensive maybe. But it seems kind of funny. Like it's been really funny, the little bit of it that I have watched. But never really felt for an age. Just felt like I'm a year older. I get that. I understand that too. It's one of those things where sometimes you almost don't realize like things have happened or like that you were in age or whatever until like after it's already happened, you know? Oh no. Bad. And I'm out of ammo. Oh no. Okay, let me use teleporter, get back to the center, and Volk. I will get the Volk, and I will pack punch the Volk. I feel like I've always been kind of hyper aware of my age, but I feel like that's almost kind of a cultural thing too, because I feel like in the US there's a lot of it's weird to put it. It's because like I know I don't know I don't know. I don't mean to sound like I know more than I do when I talk about comparing the US to other countries, but having spent a year in another country and also having spent a lot of time in Canada too, because I visited Canada a lot when I was younger, Um, like I feel like the U.S. is socially very different than a lot of other countries, and it might not necessarily be obvious at first, but it really is like very socially different. And so the thing is, like, as an American growing up, I feel like there was a lot more emphasis on age because there's a lot more restriction on what you can do at certain ages in the US. And it's not even necessarily that it's always like a written down definitive you can or can't do this or that at this age, but it's the fact that there's a lot less freedom of movement when you're a kid in the US. Like in the UK, if you're, like 14 or whatever and you want to go to the grocery store, you probably can. You just hop on the bus and go. But in the US, if you want to go to the grocery store, go to the video game store or something, and you're only like 14, you can't really go anywhere unless you get a ride from somebody. And that, relies on asking your parents or asking an older sibling or whatever to do that. And so when you finally hit like 16, you have a lot more freedom to do stuff like that. And then like when you hit 18, you can do more stuff. Yeah. Hang on, sorry, I went on a rant and didn't read your messages for a second there. You had said about spaces disappearing, being outdoors or away from home and work, go to the library with friends after school. But see, even that's a perfect example of it, right? Like in the US, you can't go to the library unless you're going to like your school library. But then the thing is, like, a school library isn't necessarily even open after school hours. So it's one of those things where it's like, if I okay, take for example where I live right now. I live out in the middle of nowhere. If I did not have a car, I would not be able to walk anywhere without putting myself at risk of literal injury because I'd be having to walk on the side of the road. The nearest library to me is not even that far away, but is still a risky venture without a vehicle because I can't walk there. So like if I was like 10 years younger than I am right now, I wouldn't be able to do anything like that. Even as it is with a vehicle, sometimes it can be hard to do things like that. But yeah, it does suck, social spaces just disappearing like that, because I don't know, it's like it's weird because on the one hand, when I compare it to when I lived in the UK, it felt like there were a lot of social spaces there that are not here. But I know that even there, it's not perfect. But like, I remember when I was in grad school, like I would go to like clubs and stuff with my friends, and like, even though people were drunk, I don't drink, but like, everybody around me would be drunk. And like, people would be like too drunk to even like really talk or conversate sometimes, but like, at least you could meet people that you weren't necessarily meeting like in school or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like in the US there's just not anywhere to do that. Like, my girlfriend has said to me before, like, why don't you go and make some friends? And it's like, dude, I literally don't have anywhere to go to make friends.
Not the exact temporal displacement I was expecting.
That's such a different world. That makes sense. Cars are a necessity. They really are here. It's really so strange because I feel like it's something that like okay, so for example, when my girlfriend came to visit, my girlfriend lives in the UK. She's originally from India though, but even still, India, even though it's a bigger country, it also has like it has a more robust public transit system than the US does. And I remember telling her there was a couple days when she visited me, I was like, I couldn't get like every day you're here off, like I'm gonna have to go to work for a couple days. Like maybe I can set up a game console or something for you if there's any like games that you want to try out while I'm at work or whatever. And she was like, well, wait, can't I just take like a bus somewhere? And I was like, not really. Because there's just no bus stops, there's no sidewalks, there's not like, the only way you can use public transit in the US is if you live in a major city. And then the issue with that is that public transit in the US is used so little that like it can actually be kind of dangerous to take public transit some places because like utter psychopaths get on public transit sometimes here. Yeah. Oh, money. Yeah, but it's crazy just because when I look back at it, right, like when I was in the UK, I used to travel really far on public transit. I became a master of figuring out bus schedules and stuff because like I could get really far on a bus for really cheap. Once I figured out how to get to, there was a city, like a pretty big city near the school that I was going to, and once I figured out how to get all the way to that city for one singular pound, I went there like every week, and it was awesome. Stallion 44. I don't know if I've ever used this gun before in this. Yeah, I might keep this around just to have fun with it a little bit. Earlier in the stream, I was talking about jobs and stuff. So Yell Red, you know, because I've looked at jobs back in the UK a little bit and stuff, even though I'm not there anymore. You know, if you know, just you should make sure to just like send all your favorite like podcast companies or whatever, or like other production companies over there. Just shoot them all emails and say, hey, there's this really good guy, like this really entertaining guy on YouTube named Wolf. Y'all should absolutely hire him for something. No, but I really do hope that I can manage to find a better job than the one I have. I said it at the beginning of the stream, but I figure I'll say it again now because it's been like almost 2 hours and some different people are probably tuned in now. Yeah, my job right now, it's not bad. Like I've said this a lot of times before. It's not bad, but I really don't think it's the most healthy for me. It really wears on me like a lot, and so I really have been trying to look for other stuff. It just sucks that the job market is so bad right now that it's really hard to find anything. The other thing too is like for a long time I was running into an issue where like I was never hearing back from any jobs in the area that I live in, and now I'm running into, because there's so many people moved to where I live, now I'm running into the issue where it's like now there's like so many jobs that are just taken. Like I can't, like I've looked at jobs and there's really just not even a ton available now anymore, which really sucks. But you know, we'll see. I have considered, I have considered maybe moving to a different area, but we'll see, because it's not, job market isn't perfect anywhere right now, and also I kind of like the area that I live in despite its issues. Yeah. Back. Oh, Yellow Red, you're back. You might have missed my semi-joking message there. I was saying, you know, Yell Red, you're in the UK, and I had lived in the UK for a year, and I've looked at jobs and stuff there, and I've been looking at finding a new job now. So Yell Red, you should just go ahead and shoot emails off to, send emails to, you know, all of your favorite, you know, podcast, TV, production, etc. companies, and be like, hey, there's this really entertaining guy on YouTube named Wolf. Y'all should definitely give him a job. If you could just hit up, you know, like the BBC for me real quick, that'd be great. Fun fact, actually, I actually did have an interview at the BBC one time. When I was in grad school, I had applied for, they had this, it wasn't like a job, it was kind of an internship thing. It was like a program thing that they did. And I had applied for it, and I actually had like a video interview thing that I did. So I got past like the first round of it, which was kind of cool, but then I didn't end up getting it or anything. What did you say? So the U.S. doesn't have public transport, third spaces in walking distance, or pavement for pedestrians. Honestly, not really. There's a little bit of that stuff, but not really. So public transit exists in some places in the U.S. In a lot of major cities, there is public transit, but the quality of it is questionable. So, like, for example, New York City, right? New York City is probably one of the best examples of public transit in the U.S., even though New York City has its issues, and I don't really like New York in general that much. But New York City it's got buses, it's got a subway, It's got taxis, so it does have public transit. But the issue is that like the New York City subway is notorious for creepy people being on it and begging for money, or like psychopaths going down there to try to like stab people and stuff. So like that's part of the issue with like public transit there. And then a lot of other cities have public transit, but it's either like they run into the same issues, or a lot of other cities don't necessarily have the quantity of public transit that is needed. There's some cities in the US that will have public transit, but it'll be like really limited public transit. It'll be like there's like for example, like the city that I live near that I go to pretty often, there is public transit, but like the bus stops and stuff for it are like non-existent. They're like literally just a sign on the side of the road. It's crazy. There's not even an actual like bus shelter. So it's not great, and it's a lot of reliability on cars. And like I know that there's a lot of very anti-car people who are like, oh, you know, it's bad like that we're so reliant on cars. And the thing is, like, I do enjoy driving. However, there are times when it would be nice to not be able to drive. For example, like I got surgery a couple years ago. It was a relatively small surgery, but I wasn't supposed to drive myself home afterwards. And I didn't have to. Luckily, my mom was able to drive me home afterwards. But it was like, I don't really have any friends. Like, I don't really have that many family members that live near me. So like, if I wasn't able to get a family member to drive me home, what was I gonna do? You know, there's no public transit. I couldn't take like a bus home. Yeah. And then what you were saying about, what was that you said? No third spaces and okay. So as for pavement for pedestrians, that's another thing that really depends on the area. That is one thing. A lot of cities will have sidewalks, and like footpaths and stuff and things like that, but it's not to the same quantity that like Europe has necessarily. And also the other thing too with it is oh god, I need to get another gun. The other thing too with that is that the Volk again? Bro, why is the Volk everywhere? The other thing with that is that there are some areas where the sidewalks actually don't make sense, which might sound like an odd description, but there are some small towns in the US that have sidewalks and they don't go anywhere. Like there will be a random street that'll have a sidewalk, but it doesn't connect to anything. I've seen this a lot, and it's honestly something I'm surprised that I've never really seen like one of these, you know, like infrastructure YouTube channels cover. Yeah, there's a lot of towns in the US that have sidewalk infrastructure that doesn't actually make any sense, or that doesn't actually make any sense, or doesn't actually provide any benefit. And you just kind of wonder who designed it, because it almost seems like the sidewalks are there more for aesthetic purposes than actual usability. Or there will be like sidewalks that have connections across the street but don't actually have like a crosswalk or whatever. It just doesn't always make that much sense. Sorry, had a tickle, had a cough. Don't make sense. It really doesn't. It really is like a glitch in the matrix. It's like if you come to the US and you actually like pay attention to the sidewalks in some areas, you will realize very quickly that they just don't make any sense. Dang it, I think I'm gonna miss the gun that I rolled for. And I'm already out of ammo again? Good God.
Oh, this thing is heavy.
And then what was the other thing you had asked about, y'all read? Third spaces? Yeah, no, third spaces. I legitimately, it took me a good second to realize what you were talking about when you said third spaces, because that is such an uncommon concept in the US. Yeah, no, there's really not anywhere to just go hang out in the US, because, like, a lot of places, like, okay, I'm trying to think of how to word this. Like, I don't want to get political about it. I don't want to make it sound political, but a lot of stuff in the US is very based on making money, which is not a bad thing. I mean, I think, you know, like, I don't know, I like I said, I don't want to get political, but I know that there's a lot of like discussions about like socialism and capitalism, and et cetera, et cetera. And the thing is, capitalism has its benefits, right? But the problem is when everything is about profit all the time, that's not necessarily great. And so there's a lot of spaces in the U.S. where like if you're not going and spending money, then they're gonna like kick you out. Um, so like yes, we do have libraries and stuff, but you can't really walk to them usually unless you're in like a city. Um, I'm just grabbing guns at this point. And then yeah, and then like the couple of spaces that do exist for like socialization, there's usually some like expectation to spend money there. So like if you go to, I don't know, an arcade or bowling alley or something, you can't really just like hang out. You know, you have to buy something to be there. And the other thing too is like Americans are so used to not interacting with each other that it's hard to talk to people here sometimes. Like it's very awkward to go up to people and like start conversations. I mean, that's oh no. That's part of the reason why that's part of the reason why like the dating scene in the US is so broken, because like people don't know how to talk to each other anymore. um Okay, I know that I had quick revive, but I think I am gonna go ahead and probably end the stream there. However, I'm gonna keep talking for a minute. Hang on. I have my soda, and I wanted to tell you guys about Jones Soda. This is not sponsored, but I really, really like Jones Soda. I have green apple. Oh, the EMC. This is. Wait, is that why I couldn't find the EMC? Dude, wait, can you change starting weapon in... No, you can only change weapon kits in Infinite Warfare, okay. The EMC is the gun that turns into the Starbright that I was talking about. Those Canadians lied, where are the gigantic shopping centers? Okay, there are shopping centers in the US. There are big malls, but it depends on where you are a lot. Like, wow, that sip was louder than I thought it would be. So, yeah, I'm just going to talk for a couple minutes here at the end of the stream because I have this soda, and also why not? Good God, the stream has been 2 hours. This is way longer than I usually stream for. Did I even take a shower today? I don't even know. Dude, where am I? Oh my God. Yeah, so like there are shopping centers, but again, it's like one of those things where it's like you're kind of expected to spend money. It's like if you go to a mall and you hang out in the food court, eventually somebody's probably going to come over and have a conversation with you, unless you look busy. Unless you're sitting there like on your computer looking busy, then they might not bother you. But the other thing too is like there's a lot of malls in the US that have just like totally died out. But now there are some malls that are coming back. There was a lot of malls that kind of like there was a lot of malls that died out, but there's also been a lot of malls that almost died, but now that people are kind of getting sick of shopping online all the time, there are some malls that are starting to come back around. So like there's a pretty big mall near where I live that's one of those malls that sort of was empty for a while. And it had some stuff in it, but it kind of seemed like it was dying. But then oh, I thought I got a text message. Then people started shopping at it again, and also it's like in a shopping center with other businesses and stuff too. And it actually has started getting more businesses moving into it now, which is nice. So now it's kind of on the up. It actually got like a new movie theater a while back. Got a couple other things added to it. I actually really like going to that mall. There's a really good restaurant in the food court there that I really like going to. Only thing sucks is it's kind of far away from me, and I can't walk to it. Yeah. Oh, so I want to talk about Jones Soda while I was doing this, man. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had Jones Soda, but it's so good. And like just little personal wolf story. So when I was a kid, I actually was in gymnastics for a while, which I know that like that's not usually like a very masculine activity. I mean, it is. It requires a lot of strength, and a lot of gymnasts are very handsome, strong dudes. But like I know when I was a kid, it was kind of like, oh, I don't want to, do gymnastics. That's like a girl thing. But my mom, like when I was a kid, had noticed how much I enjoyed, running around and playing on playgrounds and climbing things, and she was like, "Just trust me on this. I've signed you up for it, and you're gonna do it, and you're gonna try it for at least like a month or whatever, and we'll see how you feel about it." And I actually did enjoy doing it because I never got to a level of like being in any competitions for it or anything like that, but I had a lot of fun just running around and jumping on trampolines and swinging on, stuff. And they had this cool like pit of foam and everything. And anyway, so that's not really where the Jones Soda thing comes into play. But so I would go to gymnastics on the weekends, and then I would go home. And on the way home from the gymnastics place, we would stop at there was a Sheetz gas station, and Sheetz is really good. We don't have them in any of them in the area that I live in now. I don't really think there's Sheetz in the South in general, but they have really good like food. Even though it's a gas station, it's one of those gas stations where you could like use a screen to order food and stuff. They had really good hot dogs. So I remember I would get done with gymnastics, and I would go. My mom and I would stop at Sheetz, and I would get a hot dog, and I would get a green apple Jones Soda. And I see Jones Soda sometimes, but not that much. And the other day, I ended up finding there was a 4-pack of Jones Soda for sale at a local store. It was ridiculously expensive. That was like $9 for 4-pack, which, yeah, good God, that's crazy for soda. But anyway, I ended up buying it because I haven't had a green apple one in a while, and man, it is still good. It is still good. This is sadly my last one. I'll have to go maybe buy some more if I can manage to scrounge up $9, but we'll see. It's insane. Like, as I've been thinking about jobs and stuff, I've been applying to jobs. Some jobs they ask you, like, what's your expected salary or whatever, and it's crazy to me that the U.S. minimum wage has not been raised in so long because, the 4-pack of soda was $9, like I just said. In some places in the U.S., the minimum wage for an hour is less than this 4-pack of Jones Soda was. It's like $7 something. It would take you more than an hour to save up enough money for a 4-pack of Jones Soda, which is crazy. Yeah. I don't like to talk about social issues and stuff on my stream that much, but that is one that I think is wild. Anyway, though, thank you, Yell Red, for the enjoy the soda message. I am going to enjoy the soda, and perhaps I will even go watch an episode of Tripping the Rift right now. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. And I hope those of y'all who are watching the archive version of this enjoy it as well. My streams do surprisingly well in the recorded versions. So if y'all are watching in the recorded versions, make sure to let me know why. I know Yell Red here, who's in the chat right now, has told me a couple times about like why he likes my streams so much. But yeah, I like these streams tend to get like at least 20-30 views, which I know isn't a ton in YouTube terms, but it's quite a few in like terms of my channel's size and first stream, especially one that like not that many people watch these live. So yeah, make sure to let me know in the comments if you're watching the recorded version of this, like what you like about my streams, so I can continue to improve them. And I've got more videos and stuff on the way. It's just that I'm taking my time with them more, but they are on the way. So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys are sent a message about playing some co-op. Might have missed it. Want to add me on Steam. Looking to co-op. Getting a PC soon. I think I did miss it actually. Yes, Yell Red. You will have to let me know what is your username real quick, because I will probably send you a message or send you a friend request on Steam. I'm gonna be real with you. Normally, I'm a little hesitant about playing with other people, but you have been on my channel enough that we might be able to play co-op sometime. But yeah. What was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. Or you might even be able to find me on Steam, because I think I'm like the only Wolfie, probably. But
You know, while you're getting your Steam username together, I want to check something on my PC because I've been playing for a minute. I'm curious to see what temperature my computer is at right now. I know, because it's been working fine, but I think I've told you guys before that I had to change my I had to change my cooling setup in this computer when I got it. It was liquid cooled, and I didn't want it to be liquid cooled, so I had to change that. Why is my screen blank? Why can I not see anything? Okay. Let's close out of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. My screen is just totally black right now. I can't see anything on my computer. This is one of the many reasons why I do the dual computer setup to stream. Because if my Windows PC were to just like totally crash right now, it would not actually break the stream because I'm actually streaming on a different computer. Okay, I see your username. I will try to remember that and add you once Windows decides to get working. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream now, especially because now the thing has just like broken. Or actually, hang on, let me write your username down in case I forget, and I will try to send you a friend request. Okay, anyway, thank you guys for watching. My computer's broken. I'll see you. Like no joke. Look. Nothing's there. Okay. Thank you guys for watching.